So let me give you a link where from you can download. You have JDK, you have Tomcat, you have Eclipse, and let me give you the link for Spring also. Let me check this link quickly. Alright, it is working fine. So here if you see, there is Spring Framework 4.2.5 release dist.zip. So I want you to download this zip folder and keep it extracted with you. So let me paste this link. So go to this link and then download this zip file and keep it extracted. Okay. So that is the very first step you need to do. And one more thing also you need to download. So let me check that as well. I mean, I'm just verifying before I share it with you whether these links are working or not. Yes, this is also working. So Commons logging 1.2 bin.zip. So this is one more zip file I want you to download and extract it. So pasted both the links in your chart window. So go there to those links and then download those zip files and get it ready. Right? So let's see the theory of this Spring Framework, like what it is and why it is, all that. Both the links, go to the first link, download the zip file. Second link, download the zip file. First link is about your Spring software. Second link is the Commons logging jar file. Just download those zip files, then you will be getting those jar files inside those zip folders. Okay, so let us try to understand what does it mean by a Spring framework. So Spring is a framework built by using your Java programming language, and this framework is used to build the enterprise applications. So this is basically available in two parts. One is the core container or core module you can call. So being a core container, your Spring is going to manage the various objects that you are going to utilize in your project. So the entire life cycle, the configuration, the dependencies, etc. are going to be managed by the core container of your Spring. Then on top of that core container, it provides you some other modules which are basically to support the application development as a framework. Means anything you are calling it as a framework means any framework it is. It need not be only Spring framework, but any other framework also. It provides you the skeleton or the structure. So by utilizing that particular skeleton or structure, we are going to keep adding our own classes, keep writing our own code base around that given structure of a framework. So similarly, even here, Spring as a framework provides you some advanced capabilities on top of your core container of the Spring, like JDBC integration. You wanted to work with some JDBC functionality. There is a JDBC module which you can easily integrate with your Spring framework. There is Hibernate, which we learned independently. So Hibernate as a independent Hibernate Java programs, how they work, right? So creation of session factory, creation of session objects, then using the query object, criteria object, all those things we have seen. And all those things now we wanted to integrate them as part of the framework, means with the help of this Spring framework we need to do, right? And also we wanted to build some web applications, like which should follow some MVC design pattern, model view controller design pattern. So all these are the advanced capabilities that must be available in the form of different modules as a framework. So that's why if anyone asks you what is Spring, you can simply say that it is a container as well as it is a framework. So being a container, it is going to create the objects and manages the dependencies and the entire life cycle of all those objects and present those objects to be accessible throughout your application. And being a framework, your Spring is providing you a kind of infrastructure or the structure, the basic skeleton of all your Java classes or its predefined classes of Spring framework, all that. So which are easily reusable classes so that you'll be able to accomplish whatever the task you need to do. Right? So that is what Spring is. Right? And this Spring is not a brand new framework in the market. It is there almost more than a decade. Almost for the last 1.5 decade it is there in the existence. It came with its very first version in 2002 itself. Like Rod Johnson is a guy who was trying to provide some patterns to address some bad coding factors, all that. So he came up with the very first version of his copy which got released in 2002. Then the same framework he proposed under the license of Apache in 2003, which you can consider it as the very basic version. Then the very first milestone release called Release 1.0, Spring 1.0 came into existence in 2004. Later on, from 2004 to 2005, several things came into existence, like 1.2, 1.3, 1.5, like that. Then Spring 2 came into existence then in 2006, then Spring 2.5 in 2007. People started using it. People started developing the applications by using Spring Framework in 2006, 2007. I mean, came into the public stream, the mainstream of application development, and the community keep on growing. And nowadays, now we can say that the Spring community is a very big, one of the biggest developer communities in the software market. And then in 2009, Spring 3 came, then with some minor enhancements, keep on continuing for the last 3-4 years, like in 2011, 3.1, in 2013, 3.2.5. And the latest version which came in 2013 is 4.0. Right? And on top of that 4.0 itself, some new enhancements like minor changes keep on applying, and it becoming 4.1, 4.2, 4.2.1, 2.2, 2.3, like that 4.2.5, the one which you are downloading is the recent copy of 2016, right? So like that is the brief release history of your Spring framework. So what is all that your Spring is going to provide you? It will be providing you a lightweight container as well as the framework, as just now we discussed about it. And it is going to manage all the dependencies among the objects. We'll see how it is all going to be. And it is going to provide you a clear-cut separation of responsibilities in terms of different layers. Like there will be layers. So all your business components you are going to arrange under one layer. All your service layer you are going to define at one more place. And all your Web components you are going to arrange at one more layer. So like that, layer by layer, a clear separation of responsibilities will be organized. And the integration of components will be pretty much simplified here, like in terms of JDBC, in terms of Hibernate, or in terms of any other tools like JPA, IBTs, all these things, right? So that way your Spring is to be considered as a unique framework which is not only supporting the MVC implementation but more than MVC, with the integration of with the power of integration to get integrated with your JDBC modules, Hibernate modules, whatnot, web services, everything you will be able to do by using your Spring framework, right? So that's why you can say that Spring framework is one of the powerful and popular frameworks available in the market right now, and it is a proven framework. For the past 1.5 decade, people started implementing it, people started utilizing it for the development of different kinds of applications. So it is a proven framework. So you need not to wait for someone to use it and then provide a comment to you, provide a feedback to you so that you can start utilizing it. Anyone can go ahead and then start using this framework. So whatever the responsibility, whether it could be the core responsibility you wanted to do it by using Spring, or you wanted to build the web applications by using Spring, or you wanted to build some middleware components using Spring. So whatever the layer you wanted to build by using Spring, all that is possible by Spring. So your Spring is pretty much comprehensive, pretty much modular. So any module you'll be able to easily build, you'll be able to easily plug in that module. And if you think that that particular module is no more required, you can unplug that module pretty easily. And moreover, nowadays the trend of development is test-driven development. So the old SDLC is outdated way of development, like collecting the requirements, then preparing the design document, preparing the development strategies, then do the coding for couple of months, then do the testing, then release it to the production environment. All that is a time-based process. So no client is having that much patience to wait for 3 months or 6 months or 1 year to see the end result. So by that time, lot of things may change. His prospect may change. So people wanted to see the results. The clients wanted to see the results as early as possible, if possible, by end of the day. So for that particular things, they will be giving you some test cases. They will be giving you some use case scenarios, right? And based on those use case scenarios, to satisfy those use case scenarios, by consuming those test cases provided by the stakeholders of the project, you should be able to build the application and you should be able to produce the results possibly at the end of the day or at the end of the week. So for such sort of dynamic development, your Spring is to be considered as an ideal framework for all such way of test-driven development of projects. And moreover, it is very good at integrating with any other technologies, any other frameworks. So that is the reason the Spring framework's role is recognized by the major vendors of the software market, right? And all these modules are to be considered as the very base modules or the very important modules of your Spring framework. So here all your test cases, they might be developed in JUnit or they might be developed in TestNG. So to satisfy these test cases, you are going to produce, you are going to develop a project. So you are going to consume all these core container capabilities. So with this should be considered as the base of your Spring platform. So beans module should be there, core module should be there, context module, expression language. So on top of these four modules, which are together called as core container of my Spring, there will be aspect oriented programming you can develop. You can develop web programming in terms of servlets, threads implementation, portlet implementation. You can also do the data access integration like JDBCs, ORM, JMS, transactions, whatnot. All these are the various modules which are supported by your Spring framework, right? So that is how we'll be able to consume all these 20 plus modules starting from the core container, all that are shown in that particular diagram, right? So let us understand this core container thing by writing a simple, what do you call, a simple new implementation. A simple core module project will try to create, right? Wherein you can understand these four modules. What does it mean by core module? What does it mean by bean module? Context, expression, all that, right? Because these core and bean modules together to be considered as the fundamental parts of your core container, which are basically meant for the purpose of dependency injection and all. I mean, any number of objects you are going to define, they are all going to be declared there in an XML file to be configured as the bean components, right? So all those bean components need to work together, need to cooperate with each other, need to communicate with each other. So all that communication is going to happen in the form of a registry. That registry is nothing but the context modules provided by your core container, and all those values, all those properties of the respective bean objects are going to be written in terms of expressions. So to do all that accessibility and all, we will be binding all these four modules together as a core container, right? So we'll see how do we work with all of them, right? So is anyone downloaded the project that, I mean the links that I gave it to you? Okay, Shrikanya done. So shall I make you the presenter, Shrikanya? Okay, I'm making you the presenter. Okay, have you downloaded that Spring framework? Can you show me that Spring framework 4.2.5 which you downloaded? Did you extract it? Show that folder. Go inside that folder. Right. Go inside that. Yeah. Libs is there. So which will be showing you all the libraries, means the jar files. So it carries. You copied this commons logging inside this, or it was there? Should not be inside here. It is actually a separate one. Yeah, keep it outside. No, it is not Spring Commons, it is the Apache Commons. but it will be utilized by your Spring framework. Just paste it as it is. No need to keep it in a separate folder. Just you can keep it outside. Like Spring framework how it is. Similar to that. Just unzip that commons logging. You'll get that one. Okay, fine, no problem. Leave it. Let's go to Eclipse. Okay, here let us create a new Java project. We'll create a small hello world kind of application to understand the power of Spring Java project. Yes. Spring hello world. Spring hello world. Okay. Just say finish. Now right click on that Spring hello world. Build path. Configure build path. Click the button add external jars. Now you can go inside that Spring Commons thing. First we'll add that jar file commons logging 1.2 dot. Go inside the first jar file commons logging -1.2. Yeah, select that and then click open. Right. Now again click add external jars. Now go back to Spring. It is a documentation thing. That jar is not required. Spring Framework 4.2.5 libs and select Spring Beans. They are all arranged in the sorting order. Spring-beans. Select that one. Then Spring Context. Select that one. And click that checkbox. Now it has selected all of them. Yeah, you can hold your control or you can directly come towards the right side and you can check that. Wait, we need to add two more. Yeah, Spring Beans and Spring Context you added. Two more jar files are needed because we wanted to bring the Spring container here. So Spring container is nothing but Spring Beans, Spring Context, then scroll down. Spring Core is there. So take that Spring Core 4.2.5, then Spring Expression. Right, click open now. So these four jar files are to be considered as the core container. So all these core container jar files are internally utilizing commons logging. So that's the reason we added that jar file also. Okay, click OK. Now go to the SRC folder, create a new package there first. Right click on that, say new package. Name that package as com.spring.practice. Finish. So in this package, let us create a new class. A simple Java class we'll try to create. Name that class as Hello Spring. Hello Spring. No need of any main method, just Hello Spring class. Finish. And declare one simple private variable there. Private string message. Private string message. Message is the name of the variable. Press enter. Generate the getter and setter for this message property. Just keep the cursor there. Wait. When only one property is there, if you keep the cursor, it is giving you the option create getter and setter for message. Choose that. Right. Okay. So try to use the quick fixes of your Eclipse also. It would be good actually. So it is the power of Eclipse. Press Ctrl Shift F. Perfect. Save this. So one simple Pojo class we created. Right? So this class I want to declare it as a bean component of my Spring container. Because as I said, the core container of Spring Framework is going to manage all my objects. So in this project Hello Spring World, Spring Hello World object project, we created this Hello Spring class. So this Hello Spring class should be managed as an object, right? So that object is nothing but the bean object you can call. So like the way we created hibernate.cfg.xml, so here also you'll be able to create one Spring Beans file. You can call it as, you can give any name. In Hibernate it is the standard name, you should give that name only, hibernate.cfg.xml, but here you can give any name of your choice. So right click on your src folder, let us create an XML file. We'll just say bean.xml. Beans.xml, that gets created there in your src folder. Okay. So copy all these lines of code there. Yeah. You can delete either 1 or 2, line 1 or line 2. Yeah. Press Ctrl Shift F. So beans is the root element which begins at line 2 and ends at line 9. And 6, 7, 8 are the three important lines which are actually creating our own bean component. So on line 6 if you see, bean ID is one attribute, class is another attribute of this bean tag. So I can give any ID. It is nothing but object. Like how do you create string s1 equal to new string, you can say. So that s1 is what it is, the ID of that string object, right? So similarly here for my bean ID, I can give any name. So I said hello spring. Which class I would like to instantiate it as a bean? That complete fully qualified class name of it, means including the package name I need to mention. So I said class equal to com.spring.practice.hellospring, right? So that is my class. I would like to load it as an object, and this class is defined with one property, right? So what is the property name you declared in your hello spring? You said private string message. That is your property. So give the same name. Whatever the private variable name you mentioned, that should be the property name here, right? So it is the property of this bean. So that's why between this opening tag and closing tag of bean it is declared. So for this property name message, you are passing some value. So your Spring container is going to invoke the setter method of your Hello Spring Pojo to set this value to that message property. Means internally it invokes set message method. So what is that set message method doing there in your Hello Spring? Can you go back there? Hello Spring.java is going to invoke by the Spring container what your set message is doing there. Can you go there to the hello spring.java? There you can see the set message method. It is taking an input parameter string message, and that input parameter is assigned to the message property of this class, right? So that internal invocation of this setter method will be done when you are declaring that property there in your bean.xml. Means your Spring container is trying to take care of the creation of that bean object called hello spring, as well as it is taking care of the dependencies as well, right? So now I just wanted to verify how this value is. This message property is a dependent value. So how this value is passed onto my hello spring Pojo. So let us test this one. So you can create one more class in the package, call it as hello spring test. Save that one. Yes, hello spring test. Take the main method also. So we need to have the application context. So declare this variable. So that context is nothing but that should be created based on my beans.xml. So beans.xml can be passed to the class path XML application context object, and it is going to create me the application context. So these two are the ones from your org.spring framework package, right? So that way I got my context. Means core library, beans library, and then the context library, right? And once I get this context, now I know how to get that bean. So that bean is defined with some ID, right? So now I can say that get that bean like this. So context is my variable declared at line 9. So utilizing that context dot get bean method, get bean followed by that bean ID, if I pass, it is going to give me that particular object. So once I get that object, now you know what to do. So you'll be able to invoke the getter method of that obj and then print it. Copy these two lines. So obj.getMessage is going to return you the message variable, and then you are saying sysout message. So that message will get printed there on your console. Save this, run this. That's all. This is Spring. So where from this value is coming? You configured this value in your beans.xml for the property message. Right? So that way this dependent value is injected into your hello spring object, hello spring Pojo, or in terms of Spring terminology, it is a hello spring bean. got injected with this value using its setter method, and using the getter method I am retrieving that value once I get that bean component through my Spring application context. Right? That's all. This is how easily we'll be able to configure the objects. So if there are any number of objects you are going to work with, so they are all going to be declared like this only. They need to be declared in the form of bean components. Once there is a bean component available, then that bean component is going to be there as part of your container, Spring container. And that Spring container is actually creating those objects, configuring them, managing the life cycle of them, right? And also injecting the dependent values, whatever needed. And that is how all those objects will be useful to you to be accessible by using your application context interface of the Spring framework. So application context is known as a central interface that provides the configuration information to your application. So that way it is giving you those factory methods. It is giving you the ability to resolve those messages, supporting publishing events, loading the resources, etc. are going to be done by that application context. So this interface is implemented by 3 different classes. Like the way in this example, as we have seen, class path XML application context class means your Spring container is loading the definitions of all your beans from an XML file which is there in the class path of your project. If not, if it is there at some other location in D drive, some other folder, some external folder, then you will be using file system XML application context class. If it is a web application, then web XML application context. So like that, there are 3 implementation classes provided by your Spring framework which you are instantiating there. Can you go there to the Hello Spring test so that you can see what I am talking about? I am talking about class path XML application context. So apart from class path XML application context, there are 2 more classes available. One is the file system XML application context and the other one is web XML application context. Right? So that way all those objects which are going to form the backbone of your application are managed by your Spring container, are known as the beans. Or you can say that your bean is an object which gets instantiated and is assembled and is managed by your Spring container. They are all declared inside your XML file. So here we are using all my Spring configuration data in the form of XMLs. Right? So that is about the usage of this. Clear? Now, when you are creating any applications, any such bean components, every bean component is having some scope. So right now, your bean component which you are invoking by saying context.getBean hello Spring, it is by default defined with some scope value called as singleton value. Means only one object it should be. Like how it should be, for example, let me say in your variable, just go to line 10, say that hello Spring obj1, no, is it the ID you give? ID we should not modify. I am talking at the beginning of the line, you are going at the end of the line. Hello Spring obj1. The variable declaration. No, 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 big no. Right. Go to line 11. Say that obj1 dot get message. So before I want to say obj1.get message, I wanted to set the message. So can I do? Can you please set that? I don't want to use the value of that beans.xml provided. I want to use my own. So I want to set the message. So between this line 10 and 11, write one more line, obj1.set message. Right, pass your own message, anything. Just say hello. What is the error? So what your set message is expecting? Set message method is expecting a string value. Pass a string. I mean, put that hello within double quotes. That is what a string is, right? I mean, am I confusing you? Right. Save this. Now run this. So what happened? Whatever the property you configured in your beans.xml is not taken now. When I say obj1.set message hello, it is not taken the value that is configured. It has taken the value that is programmatically passed here. Right? So now I want you to create one more object. So copy that line 10 and say that it is a obj2. Not there. No. After line 14. I mean after your sys out. Press enter. One more enter please. All that is the story of obj1 on top, and from now onwards we wanted to write obj2 things. Okay. Then say that string message2 equal to obj2 dot get message, or you can copy line 12 and 13. Yeah, string message2 equal to obj2 dot get message. Then say sysout message2. Now tell me what is the expected result. So what should be the expected result? Two lines of output we are expecting. So first line, anyway we know that it is hello. Second line, what will be the value we are expecting here? Because for obj2 you are not setting any value. So obviously we will be expecting the value that is passed to your property. Right? So save this and run this. Let us test this. What will happen? Let's see. Both are giving hello, hello. It is not taken the value of your property that you passed. Why? Because both obj1 and obj2 are pointing to the same instance. Only one instance got created there. It is not creating the multiple instances there in my container. When you said context.getBean hello spring, same spring object, same bean object is referenced by obj1, same as that of obj2. So by using obj1 you are setting that message property. So the same value is accessible even by using your obj2. Means it is not creating two separate objects. Both obj1 and obj2 are the two reference variables pointing to the same object. That is why we are getting that result. Because by default the scope of these bean components is managed as the singleton scope. So other than singleton scope, there is one more scope value available called as prototype. So with the prototype configuration, we will be able to get the separate instance every time whenever you are saying context.getBean. So go back to your beans.xml and go to that bean declaration on line number 6. At the end of your class attribute, you can write one more attribute saying that scope equal to, within double quotes, prototype. Save this. Then come back to your hello spring test.java and then run it. There you go. So for your obj1 you got hello. For obj2 it is a separate instance because the scope was declared like that. It has given you a second instance with a configured property value. Right? When you don't mention any scope, then by default it should be considered as singleton. Or even if you want to test that one, you can test that. Go back to your beans XML. And there you can mention scope equal to singleton. Right. Save. Then come back to your hello spring test and then test it. Run it again. You will be getting a single instance. So both obj1 and obj2 are pointing to one single instance. So that's how the value is like that. Got the difference of scope attribute? Right? Is that clear? Okay, so we'll stop here for today and we'll continue the remaining things tomorrow. Any questions so far?
Hi sir,
Yes.
this is Joshna.
Yes, Jyotsna.
Sir, I have a couple doubts.
Okay.
Can I, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I want to share my screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me make you the presenter. Okay, please share your screen.
Sir, first in JDBC. So in this, when I run this, I'm getting a output. Sorry. So not in order, sir. Like 6, 9, 8. So it actually it's a previous, last to first. But even though I'm not getting an order.
Yeah, post
I don't
PR
know
is
why.
equal is going to keep the modified records at the bottom.
Means modify.
So you have modified your record 1 very recently. So it is kept at the bottom.
No, sir. Lastly, I modified this one, 9. And even not only this one, sir, in every program it's showing like that only. Only in a post GRE it's showing an order. In all these programs, what I did in everything, if I got update and again I run it, it's showing in this order itself. Like even though it goes like
Show me
1, 2,
there
3,
in
4, 5,
post
6, 7,
GRE.
8, 9, and 6.
Can you show me in post
Can you
GRE?
open? Yeah, sir.
Right click on search engine, view data, view all rows. It is showing in right order, right?
Yeah, sir. But in programs, it's not showing like the way. 6 is going all the way down or
Not a
process.
problem. You can just put order by ID. In your query, you can put order by ID. It should be showing.
Here, sir, in this or
In your query, wherever you wrote the query in your program,
oh, okay, sir.
should
I
be
will try that, sir.
there. If you
Okay,
put order by ID, then it is going to show you the sorting order.
okay, sir. I will try, sir, that one. The next one in updatable statement. Just a second, sir. Updatable results the demo. Yeah, sir, I'm getting an error, sir.
What is there? Null pointer, it says.
Uh, yeah. Here, sir, we have to add
Where are you getting that null pointer? Go to that line.
42. Yes.
So last row data before updating is shown to you. After that,
Mm,
can you go there to that show row data method? Your
sure.
R set became null. So on line number 40, show row data is there.
Yes, sir.
Can you keep the cursor there and press F3? So show row data is another method which is invoked from this main. Keep the cursor on show row data and press F3.
Sure. Control F3, sir.
Only F3. Keep the cursor on show row data.
Sir, for me, it's going mute. This is my Windows Surface, so if I press F3, it's going.
Okay, then scroll down. Show row data method is there.
Is this okay, sir? I did. No?
Show row data method is there in this program. So go to that method.
Yes.
So what is happening here? Just check that. ID is printed, name is printed, URL is printed. Okay, go back to line 42. It is just doing the printing. It is not doing any closing. rset.last. So it is moving the cursor position to the last record. And then actually I don't see any error there. It should come. Okay, clear this console. Clear this console.
Mm-hmm. Can I close?
No, no, no. Clear the console. There are icons on the console to clear the screen. Before. Cross. Closing icons are there. Before, next.
This is the one, sir. Is
Next
this?
one. Remove all launches. And also before that there is another link.
This one?
Before that, remove all launches. Yes. Next one. Stop this one first. Remove all launches. Still Tomcat is running. Stop this one also. Not sure if your Tomcat is consuming these database resources. And remove all launches. Stop this. Your program is already running. It is not terminated anywhere. Remove all launches.
Yeah. All the
First of
machines.
all, save the program which you are trying to run.
Right, sir.
Okay, now run it. After showing the data, it is null.
The same. The same thing, sir. Sixth one, Alta Vista, which is getting problem for me after updated.
Where it is updated? It is not yet updated.
Here it's updated, sir.
Where?
Your
You are getting
usually
error
it's
at line
written.
42 itself. It is not updated. You are trying to set that string value to that URL column. It is itself is failing. Means something is null. So whether it is rset is null or your URL column is null. Can you go there to the table?
PG admin, sir.
Go to that edit data grid. What is the column name you mentioned there? It is URL only. Then it should be acceptable. Okay, come back. Wait. See, when you said rset.last, it is showing you Alta Vista record here, last record data. But in your PG admin, there are few other values coming. And is it connected to the same MyDB thing? Or is it connected to anywhere else? Because in your PG
Sir,
admin 3, I can see the last record is different. Your
yeah, sir. What I did that one also, sir. Actually, I did for WoW also, but why I'm going with the Alta Vista, because it's coming the first one, right, all the time. Last and first, it's going with Alta Vista all the time. So again, I tried with Alta Vista.
I don't know.
I tried with this ninth record also, sir. Before I tried with this also, it doesn't work. So again, I went to Alta Vista.
No. I'm not asking about the data value what you are putting. You can put any data. But
Okay.
actually, when you say rset dot last, it should show you the ninth record. Why it is showing sixth record? That is the question.
Yeah. Yeah.
My question is not at updating.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is the
Yeah.
question at line number 38 itself.
Yeah. I got you, sir.
Scroll little up. Statement object is created. Execute query is created. Is done.
Sir, otherwise I do one thing, sir. Again, I write all the code and I try to execute it.
Okay. You
Yeah.
just do one thing. Drop all those table rows.
Okay.
Delete all those rows and try them again. So I don't
Again.
see any wrong in this code.
Yeah.
I think the
The
column
same
is wrong.
happening and it's like, yeah, it's something went wrong here itself, sir. Like when I'm running the first program, like search engine, it's getting like sixth one first. Maybe that's the
You are
problem.
trying to insert. You ran that insert program. First stop that program. Don't keep the programs running on console. Please
Okay.
hit that.
Okay.
Now, this is your first record.
Yeah, sir.
The last record should be Google. But it is not going there.
No. Is it updatable results at demo? Is it linked to search engine data, sir? Is it work? This is the output of search engine data, the
Hmm.
first program.
We are trying to
Is it
get the same data even in updatable result set also. Select start
okay?
from search engine if kept there. Can you please
Okay.
leave some spaces between select space star space from in your query line 33.
Yeah.
Save it. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, sir. One more, sir. Sir, in servlets, sir, why do we use this, sir? This line, private static find long.
It
Why do we
is
use
just
this?
it maintains a serial ID for every servlet in one particular project. If there are
Okay.
multiple servers, I mean multiple servlets if you are trying to work with, then for
Okay.
every servlet it generates some serial version ID which will be
Oh,
utilized by the servers for the purpose of serialization.
okay. If I run two projects on my laptop, one shows the both
You
shows
you
different.
can remove that one. Even nowadays the servers are smart enough, so no need of serial version IDs. So it is
Okay.
ignorable.
Okay.
But as
Okay.
per the basic skeleton, it is generating that value also. It is not a problem.
Okay, sir. That's it. That's it for now.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you, Shikanya. Thank you. See you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.